Helldrake on approach! Improvise environmental heat shields. Fire only temper now resolved! Expect some heat! Bridge is aflame. Employ evasive maneuvers. It is on the attack sector! The Helldrake readies an infernal blast! The beast shall suffer for this! Brace for balefire! Scorch assault! Get down! Good work, brothers. Servant of the archenemy sighted.
And then later return to end power play as they fight each other to find their position of dominance. Each game is created with frequent film and yet result in continual battling each other in the case of opponents. Armies and demons then battling each other within the wood or the military outfit as they fight and control to inflict local damage to the power block cross. Even though the war between the power club endless cycles of using conflict, temple cooperation, backstabbing the foe, and touch conspiracy and exploitation, and some countries and opportunities. Humanity and races such as the Elder love to bathe in the deep against something important, and so the endless skirmishes, incursions, and conflict and influencing for them, it's not like a directed and focused effort to make their strategy real and manipulated. The important battles are far from a concerted effort to reverse power to destroy the mortal races. In fact, these engagements are really more like spillage, which splashes and bleeding for continues to be far more severe and ongoing struggle between the gods themselves and the imperial. In all of that said, there are periods where for the believers the moments of God's God can turn their heart in more to real space and flip it in a fan of evil consciousness. These moments of attention to the gospel present devastating battles for society and mortal civilizations. An opportunistic war opening here, summoned possession there, these gateways will often unleash a host of demons. Whichever power first became aware of the opportunity, the demons lavishing the chance to slaughter and will corrupt and the mortal vessels that await them across whatever plane they happen to find themselves on. On the rare occasion that the power is sensed, something is dangerously allied against them, or a force has risen and poses a genuine threat in their existence. This is when you may see the most dangerous allegiances, known as chaos and chaos divide.
Brought to you by World. Thank you, World. Yes.
Life is expensive. Number one, it's fairly self-explanatory. When considering that even the ordinary galaxy, the ongoing problems of chaos are only a small amount of their attention, you can barely imagine the danger and threat of the combined forces and tensions of the Chaos Gods represents. As mentioned, the rise of the Emperor was one such occasion, and it nearly led to the entire destruction of humanity. However, as soon as such matters are resolved, the gods will immediately use that momentary lapse to attempt to destroy the others. On some part, explain is why the remainder of the heresy, the forces of the Proto Space Marines were so quick to see the collapse and retreat. This was fairly assuming that with the death of Horus, the fatal rule of the Emperor to the point that became a far more ineffective entity from that time. The gods of chaos likely snapped their attention back towards their own conflicts in the war, away from the trivial conclusion of the devastating heresy war during the period of Scarab. All of this brings us to a fairly common question. Why are there no positive gods in the immaterial? With essential beings' emotions and desires, as well as their generally conscious or unconscious feelings that form the entities within the war, and the fact that for reason, we clearly see positive creations, and other feelings very negative. So correct? This is generally speaking best marked as one of those things we could class as poorly defined or just not relevant. We know there are lesser entities out there in the war, and that it's reasonable to assume that they are just relatively unbalanced or sluggish by the presence of more powerful Chaos Gods. It's even going so far to speculate that the Emperor himself is potentially a positive godlike creature. These are the anatomy of the Chaos Gods. It also raises further questions like do the Chaos Gods truly project some darkness and evil, or is that a subjective human definition? Things, for example, rebels and change and disruption. Markets are trained to make a connection of change and disruption being a negative thing. Another view would be that it simply represents an opposing position of order and stability. We attach automatically the concept of evil to this. It's true that within the Chaos Pantheon, their followers and wars cause devastating suffering, but arguably no more than any other race in the far future. But humanity itself is no beacon of purity and innocence when it comes to such things. It's worth remembering as well that without the decline of selfishness and essential violence and all the worst race and mortal races, the Chaos Gods wouldn't even exist. It's hard when you really think about it to describe their Chaos Gods are a reflection of mortals as they peer into the ocean of the world of their souls. But so much of what occurs in galaxies of our future, humanity will and is always attached to unobjective, even irrational emotions and feelings. For example, rebels seem to be conceived with being fundamentally false or bad. The Xenos race of Earth, as a result, often seems to humans to be foul, warping and yes, even evil creatures bent on mindless destruction, brutal horrors, carnage, and slaughter of the end. Upon further study, we know it's not exclusively true. Also not evil, because they are driven by some higher, ill-meditated ground cloud. They operate by desire and instinct, and within that we could also include the pyramids, who operate with much of the same core growth. Depending on how far along you want to go with this, it can become significantly complicated and very philosophical. Altogether, we usually go and see many things that you are, but the key thing to understand first is what is simple as it being belief, darkness, and evil. Anything humanistic projection overlaid onto it. In some respects, elements of the Chaos Gods, what they represent, are actually positives, but more on the point of reference. In saying this, same field, Imperial Inquisitors, heading by the increasing urgency. Really though, this is where things are slightly contentious. It's not my knowledge to expressly explain about the morality or the positive, negative aspects of the Chaos Gods. There are subjective interpretations and quotations, and arguably it's just a matter of for example, look from Auxquist godlike form, it is a concentrated expression of violence and bloodlust, because love is dark, evil, and horrid. From form with literally body, and here, energizing. Of course, well, not from such a so that only goes to do it in war, and we never had a means to be following things where she can
Traitorous scout!
on the other side of the coin, it's unpredictable, no secret human secretly, extreme violence, bloodlust, and death, perhaps shockingly, not so bad with they appear. Other Chaos Gods should be evil, they really simply represent a balanced, combined expression, where from a human perspective, the negative aspects are much more pronounced. For example, is known by some to also represent honor and courage, with each while changed from the negative can be a positive. Therefore, while in this time undoubtedly the slanted military terrific flow in intention, it is also to one degree can be about rebirth and even salvation. Slanesh, without dark and pessimistic acceptance, is also about life and positive experiences, but it being a itself. Some feel that even go so far as to suggest that Slanesh can represent the love. I imagine this could be more of an feeling love though that makes someone behave dangerously and rationally. Love, nonetheless, Chaos and the Chaos Gods can be not only about destruction and horror, but about the exploration of the certain realm of experience at the edge of the expansive consciousness. It's just beyond the limits of human imagination. To this end, any other really say is to understand the feeling or be able to comprehend what they could show you or how this will alter human perception. I think that there's another explorer within the militant world, the Chaos Gods in their domains are seen as demons to some, angels to others. Without claiming to be the king of the easy argument, we say that these arguments are made by ruling not the Chaos Gods, but they find really rational about powers of the world. I think they're probably that they were from a human perspective, positive gods still emerge in the war, but even that they always perhaps they simply know what the meaning of the powerfulty of the entities that exist there and have been actually obliterated before they have a chance to grow. If you want to really get to the core of this though, it's humanity's own self-delusions about positivity being much or more prevalent than negative traits. Once it's true that most humans aspire to have positive aspects in their lives, we need to look at the larger picture. Let's consider that positive experiences are really that substantial and powerful, and the grand scheme of things, that are more like positive background radiation in terms of their influence on the world. If you think of emotions and self-expression as needing to have sufficient strength to essentially register the war, it helps to explain why when you look at the creation of the Chaos Gods, they offer significant, sustained, powerful, often traumatic, or not just ordinary but extreme emotions and expressions. We see that these resonated with enough strength to enable them to be able to come into a state of sentience. This can be suggested that it is only the most powerful feelings, or those on the edge of the spectrum of emotion, that registers and contributes to the world most significantly. On positive feelings like family bonding, loyalty, honor, appreciation of art and beauty, and of course love.
Engage standard morale.
In moments,
For the Emperor!
those situations happen more often and in significant strength to counterbalance the generally more regular and arguably more powerful and negative aspects of pain and suffering that are
Waste nothing to keep it extra stiff!
So again I say, it's worth noting that the Chaos Gods only begin to appear after a significant period of fairly extreme, concentrated outpouring of consciousness and suffering before they were able to consume this power and come into being. If they reached this critical massive emotive energy that allowed their creation, they simply needed to just continue on while the endless emotive energy would continue their sustained needs. But it was enough for them to be created, and they don't just exist until they later cause an in-history where their potential becomes significant after they see each other at a terrific perspective. and perform the task. It would have taken what they would take to be very, very powerful, consistent actions, positive consciousness, to bring a true positive God into existence within the world. And that is very unlikely to in the current state of mankind in the 42nd millennium or at any time previous. Of course, then it will just be even more simple rationalization, but the guilt, for whatever reason, is just more receptive to what we define as negative emotions, and that essentially is options and pleasures, for whatever reason. In relation to having a simple guilt, one thing that I think is a mistake in vision is negative forces as dark, and positive forces as light, and it's something always projecting onto it. Even the evil description, it reflects so many things evil and simplistic, and a part of humanity's embedded cultural delusions. We want to rationalize things in human talent, to visualize the being light into darkness, it's always going to prevail. That's simply dramatic, it's an ancient illustration. I'm telling you history where these visualizations are designed to be easily illustrated to opposed perspectives. It illustrates to people that the way and power and the size they need to align themselves with to show them the positive aspects nullify the negative parts, like there's a power that pushes towards darkness. However, if you want to continue along that thinking, you must also mention that light may hold back the darkness, but it never truly extinguishes it. Darkness is always waiting. As soon as the light weakens, the darkness begins to begin to bleed into the room and allow pockets of darkness to exist. The small areas of darkness will dominate and hold. If the light dwindles or is extinguished, darkness will envelop what remains and dominate that space. The best summation is that a lot of perceptions are informed by realities and they themselves and individually experience these thoughts. It's undoubtedly also factors of projection. The people are saying negative traits of chaos. In reality, the gods themselves were not perceived nor be concerned by definition for entirely evil. One thing is for sure though, once the gods go down to the realm, the activities of mortals outside their realm can view them as strength and thereby making them have more strength and gain it. So they become far more interested and more active in researching events in the spiritual realm. This is why we can follow us like cultists and stars traitors and demons shepherding in the realm of things. They are being related to some gods, and their acts are always only to benefit their masters. Still, followers of chaos are not only those who can benefit from that realm, but it is in fact suggested that the emperor gains some knowledge by traveling through a gateway to the realm of the all-powerful force of gods. Apparently, proving them the promises and future. And then the return allows them to return to science to unlock the mysteries of the issue. This knowledge is enabled them to create the demigod-like figures that are the founders. The emperor seemingly lies about God's intention to then sucker at the hands of their powers and is scattered the dystopian pods of Primarchs across the galaxy, and then not united with the emperor who enter the Great Crusade. And these realities only further muddy the water around the enemy's true intentions. It's foresight and knowledge about chaos. Might he would consider such actions to be necessary purely to back out of deals making these gods to be imperial, what his intentions were with regard to his own position. But he multiple millennium spanning history of humanity and past future. The most significant enemy of humanity in the future, the gods of the war can always sow the seeds of any number of different ways that eat away in our lives and our consciousness. We see doubt, fear, hatred, selfish ambition, sex, and wrath, and the institutions of the imperium threatening to eat at our lives from the inside out. And the first God seek to autonomy exert influence in the military realm, must many races, and allow literal chaos to reign to give them strength from their dead. Interestingly though, the chaos gods also have by their nature a symbiotic relationship with the entities of the material. Because the chaos gods only gain power in absorbing the actions, emotions, and emanations of mortals collectively. Ensuring chaos, unrest, death, destruction, hedonistic pleasures are all part of the aim. The total destruction of humanity or all mortal races is not related to that impacts, but their awareness and not the level. Now thus they would slowly cease to exist in their proper form and would likely dissipate back into the water until it began a calm, balanced world. one respect, races like the Tyranids are far more literally than averages the serious military chaos than makes it so despite. It refers to not an enemy in plain sight, upholds, corrupts, and distorts people's thoughts. Whether the gods are truly aware of how reliant they are on military to the commander, they show little signs of concern for this and their ongoing battle to destroy and threaten continues. Even ever more experienced in the fourth and second year, Alexander Rich and thought to balance every necessity checks that have become ever more violent through invasive calamities. While we will try to explore the gods of warfare and chaos in the future, they stand as the keepers of nightmarish hellscapes for most mortals can't even imagine. Chaos has already inflicted untold damage on many races in the galaxy, most obviously the Eldar and the Imperial Command, which show no signs of relenting in the ever-ongoing quest to dominate the world. It don't always hope, always. The far future, with the strength,
I'm gonna fucking die.
in heaven and earth. There are those who care little about the forces of chaos and the gods that ultimate creatures like the Orcs and Tyranids, but also among those like the Eldar and mankind who are already well aware of the danger that chaos poses to the entire galaxy. Tethered to walls first. Run complete, total, and literal chaos. And then there are the younger races like the Tau, who only now are beginning to understand the true nature of chaos, that uninvisible molecules once known to possess. It's my time the Black Library told me anything that the most controversial or chaos is already like its particles, which the deeply parts of the mortal soul includes our states and emotions that are in essence natural. Without us, there would be no chaos. Good and evil, right and wrong, and even binary oppositions that the inhabitants of this galaxy use to cultivate and find themselves. The same logical God of this work is done with greater truth. This is the more truly worrying reality of humanity is chaos. Chaos is humanity. Chaos equals the utterly inherent of ourselves. It's the side of ourselves who are unaffected, it's the darkness that we define on each other, and the evil that men do, is the distilled nature. The Imperium suffers the total collapse. This will always be friction, torture, and oppress. Inspired to look on it. If you do this because you wanted to be so, or do you do this because the dark place is that friction nothing comes through the earth? There are even plants like puppets to tune and whispers to dark lyrics, and the powerful in any note to stand. Effectively, the main powerful folks around the fine chaos gods of Korn, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. I think I would finish with something to reach from Tavros to Tavros, but the Imperium
No fucking ammo box?
I will hold this one. The demon host unleashes its power. That shrine is almost vulnerable. Blood burns as you. My eyes hear the crash of realities. I taste of the end. Sacrifice on the altar of shame. I never found monument before. I senses your basest desires. Of their banality. Maintain control here. Brace the demonic bombardment. For the Imperium! Pull us back! And turn! My chain!
I need a fucking stim pack.
Brace for demonic bombardment. Returning fire.
After Hudson ordinary vessel just is not something that's necessarily attempted to make you build an all-purpose adventure. Make the biometric security systems.
Reality fishes back in the combat with origin.